Now let's take a look at an example of a fixed price project type. We'll look at a simple example where the invoicing of the contract value results in invoiced revenue. In the advanced project accounting course, we'll cover advanced topics in revenue recognition for fixed price projects, such as recognizing revenue on a completed contract or a percentage of completion basis. So first, let's take a look at the fixed price project setup. Let's go back to AX. Let's set up a new project group. Set up a simple fixed price project group. Now we'll select fixed price as our project type. And again, we need to set up journalizing settings. We'll leave all the costs going to the P&L. We could pick balance, but let's pick P&L. Another thing though that drives fixed price project is something called the estimate. We'll go over the estimate in much more detail in the advanced course, but for now we'll leave the revenue accounting rule as no work in process. We'll do no matching or calculation method, and we'll also need to set up a default cost template and a default period code. How often are we going to recognize revenue? Again, we'll look at these settings in much more detail as they become relevant for more of the advanced revenue recognition accounting rules, such as percentage of completion or completed contract. So we're done here with the project group setup. We need to do a little bit of ledger posting setup. And again, since we picked P&L, we can use the cost settings that we've already set up. And then we should also be good on the ledger posting setup. Another thing we need to worry about is invoiced revenue on account. We've already got that set up. So for on account invoiced revenue, we'll go revenue on account. So now that we've done our setup, let's walk through an example of how this thing works in process. So the process of a fixed price project is, again, you need to create the project. A different step between this and time and materials is now we have to establish a contract value in that we have a fixed price project. We've agreed to do some work for a fixed price for our customer. So we need to establish that contract value. Then in the course of the project work, we'd process transactions. We'd invoice the contract amount either in one lump sum or milestones. Another step is then we run through a revenue recognition process. And for this example, we're going to leave out this step. Again, I look at the advanced module where we'll talk about the different sorts of revenue recognition methods and how the process works. At the end of our demo, we'll take a look at the project statement. So let's take a look in the system at how this actually works. So we'll go to our list of projects. We'll create a new project. We'll pick fixed price. We'll use our project group. We'll create a new contract with our favorite customer, Alpine Ski House. All right, so now that we've got the project created, let's go to In Process. Now remember I talked about we have to establish a contract value, and the way that we do that is through the on-account transaction. So let's go and create an on-account transaction. We'll create a contract value of $100,000. That creates the contract value. So now let's post a couple of journals and pretend like the project's in process. So we'll post an hour journal. We'll have Yoichiro do some program management. We'll add another line for another person. We'll have Wendy Richardson do some application development. And let's also post an expense journal. for $5,000. You'll notice my sales price defaulted, it marked up. But again, a fixed price project, there's no effect of sales prices. So we'll close this out. Let's take a look at the posted transactions first. So you can see we have some sales amounts here. And if we run the project statement, for this project, you can see that we have some costs, but we have no revenue. Even though we saw sales prices, that's because, again, it's a fixed price project. The system calculates those but ignores them. The actual sales price, the actual revenue that should be recognized is the amount of that on-account transaction. So let's go here and let's actually invoice that on-account transaction. So here we've got it ready for its proposal. We'll create the proposal. We can see the on-account showing up here for $100,000. We post it. Let's look at the project statement again. Now you can see we've recognized that entire contract value. Again, this is a very simple example where invoicing the on-account results in invoiced revenue. It's something you'd use on a project that lasted less than maybe a fiscal period. Again, in the advanced module, we'll take a look at more advanced revenue recognition methods with fixed price of completed contract and percentage of completion.